What's good, my friends, brothers, sisters in physical media? It is I, your brother Jay, the ordained movie monk, the Criterion choir boy. I like that one a lot. The Bishop of Bull Moose. I was at Bull Moose today, I might add. Bishoping and shit, whatever that entails. I want to thank you for clicking the buttons and welcome you to the Movie Mass. I am not drinking any brown ale tonight. I'm all done with that shit. I got it out of here. I'm enjoying an Oktoberfest by Lawson's Finest Liquid. That is so much better than the brown ale. I wanted to follow up with you fine people out there about a video I made recently. I made a video a couple of days ago, released it a couple days ago at least, as I'm filming this, in which I confidently predicted that Shout Studios would not stop selling physical media. I was very confident in that video that they would continue into the future producing physical media, physical copies of movies, 4Ks mostly, and some Blu-rays. Now, the day I released that video, Shout sends us all an email that says that they're ending their Physical Forever Club loyalty program. I think that's what it's called, Physical Forever Club. And let me just go on a small tangent with that. They started the Physical Forever Club about a year ago. It was late last year. I don't know if it's been exactly a year, but close enough. Let's just call it a year. They started it a year ago, and they called it Physical Forever. Like, bitch, y'all know what forever means? Like, they put that shit in wedding vows. Like, you're supposed to do that shit until you die. Like, forever means I'm gonna do this shit till I die. That's what forever means. Like, and bitch, I ain't going nowhere. I love irony. I love the idea of calling this program Forever, like putting that in the name, like forever, fucking forever, forever and ever. It's in the name Forever. 1 year later, yeah, guys, we're closing up. I shouldn't love it. I love it. When they sent me that email, like I was beaming ear to ear because the irony of calling this thing Forever when it only lasts a fucking year. It's hilarious to me. I guess Physical Forever sounds a lot better than physical for just a little while longer. I mean, that's maybe too many words. I don't know. The program was shorter than my dick, and they called it Forever, okay? Forever is not the nickname I gave my penis. It's not the nickname anyone would give my penis. Never ever. That's more like the nickname they give my penis. They called it Never Ever. So anyway, I digress. The closure of the Physical Forever Club is not proof in any way that I was wrong in my previous prediction that Shout is gonna stop making physical media. I have to say, it definitely was not a great sign, and it was kind of shitty timing, because I'm like, guys, I just released this video like 4 hours ago. Why you gotta make me look like an asshole, okay? Anyway, they made me look like an asshole a little bit, but whatever. Anyway, I'm not taking it as definitive proof that they're going to stop selling physical media or producing physical media. It does at least seem to indicate that Shout Studios intends to close their web store. Their web store has been in business for quite some time. I made a purchase from them, I don't know, way back in the day, probably. First time I ever purchased from them was probably almost a decade ago. It was the Big Trouble in Little China set with posters and the vinyl and all that shit, because I'm wild about that movie. But it does seem like if they're ending their loyalty program, they're telling people to disburse their reward points and claim their reward points. That kind of sounds like they're closing up shop. I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of wind things down for the remainder of the year and maybe close it up at the end of 2025 seems to make sense. So their direct-to-consumer business does seem like it's ending. It does seem like that's a change they're willing to make. Now, it's a hard one for me to fathom. It's a hard decision for me to fathom because it seems like selling direct-to-consumer would be the most lucrative sales model for a company. Shout can certainly sell titles to Bull Moose, and then I'll go into Bull Moose, as I did today, and I'll buy a Hong Kong Cinema Classics movie from Bull Moose, but if I buy a movie for $30 from Bull Moose that I could have bought for $30 from Shout Studios from their online web store, it seems like it would be a lot more lucrative for Shout to just sell it directly to me. I'm paying the same price either way, but Shout gets all of the profit instead of having to share some with Bull Moose. So it's hard for me to fathom wanting to completely stop a very well-established direct-to-consumer business, but you know, maybe they're going to save a boatload of money by like not having to warehouse all this inventory, not having to pay employees to pack and ship boxes, and just let other companies that are more well-suited, like Amazon or something, handle the logistics, right? I think over the past year or so, maybe a little bit more, Shout has been doing more Amazon exclusives for oftentimes steelbooks. The Prince of Darkness steelbook was an Amazon, or maybe even still is an Amazon exclusive. Some of the steelbooks they just announced are Amazon exclusives. They've got a couple of Halloween, the first 3 Halloween films on 4K in steelbooks are brand new artwork, at least for the releases. Those are Amazon exclusives. So look, it might just be that they want to do more exclusive work with Amazon. They're much more expensive. They're like $45 steelbooks, where if you go to the Shout website and get a steelbook, even a brand new steelbook, like the brand new Black Christmas announcement they made, I think it's something like $33 on the Shout website. So it could just be that they're going to hike the prices and sell through Amazon a little bit more. After all, I will remind us all that Warner Archive, I did it again. I don't know what it is about this beer and me not pronouncing archive properly, but after all, I'd like to remind us all that Warner Archive made the same move some years back. They had a direct-to-consumer model that they retired, and they're still going strong. They're still producing plenty of physical media releases. Warner Archive is probably better than ever, honestly, now that they've started getting into 4Ks and slipcovers. They're probably, you know, more gangsta than ever. I do appreciate what they've been doing recently, and they've been done with their web store for quite some time, and just happy to sell through other retailers, third-party retailers. So that is an indication that perhaps that's the way the Shout is gonna be going, and we don't need to worry that the sky is falling, that they're gonna fold up their physical media department anytime soon. It is relevant to note that Shout's distributor is Studio Distribution Services. I'm going to call them SDS for the remainder of this video. SDS also distributes for Universal Studios, Warner Brothers, and Sony, amongst others. Those are, I think, their big ones. SDS, I believe, is co-owned. It's a joint venture between Universal and Warner Brothers. So they're already distributing the Shout releases to like physical places. They're already doing the logistics, moving those units over to places like Bull Moose. They handle the distribution of the physical items. And I don't know why it's so hard to say direct to consumer. This is my first beer, by the way. Direct to consumer. So even sober, I don't talk right. I've killed enough brain cells that I can't even talk right when I'm sober. Anyway, Groove is the direct to consumer business arm of SDS. So Groove is owned by SDS. It's part of their corporate structure, and Shout is already being distributed by SDS. They've been moving some more exclusives over to the Groove website. It could be just as simple as a growth opportunity for Groove, and Shout exploiting a already established business relationship, a good business relationship that they've already got in place, in order to just offload that direct-to-consumer portion of their business. So as of right now, that's what I'm assuming. They're just getting out of that direct-to-consumer game. They're going to let Groove take that over. They'll continue to do some Amazon stuff, I'm sure, too, and they'll continue to do third-party retailers like Bull Moose and other, you know, brick and mortar stores and some other websites. Diabolic, Orbit DVD, I'm sure will continue to carry Shout and Scream Factory releases for as long as they exist. This is the happy ending theory. That's what I'm choosing to believe. I like a happy ending. I'm going with the happy ending. And not just the ones where I ejaculate at the end, but I like a happy ending where I ejaculate. But I like a happy ending where I get to continue buying Scream Factory movies well into the future as well. I like their steelbooks, but I also think that it's a reasonable presumption to make based on what we've seen, what we know about Shout's distribution model currently, what we've seen historically with Warner Archive making a similar move and continuing to produce physical media. However, there are more rumors out there. Mark from Orbit DVD, love Orbit DVD, by the way. I don't have a bad thing to say about Orbit DVD. I hope to make a pilgrimage to the Mecca myself one day when I'm driving through the South. I do like Orbit. They ship fast as shit. I will say, I've placed Orbit orders while I'm like out buying groceries, and when I get home with the groceries, I have a notification saying it's already shipped. And I think that's excellent. They turn an order around so fast. I love Orbit DVD, okay? And I'm not being compensated in any way to say that. It's just my honest experience with their business. Now, Mark has a YouTube. He has speculated that there's been a lot of turnover with their physical media people at Shout Studios. We know that Shout/FilmRise have lost about 14% of their workforce in recent layoffs. We don't know how much of that was Shout, and we don't know how much of that was physical media, but what Mark's speculating is that there is a pretty good loss to their physical media department, and that the private equity company, Oaktree Management, is no longer interested in pursuing physical media releases. Again, it's important to keep in mind this is just speculation. Granted, Mark might be in the know more than the average person, being that he runs a retail establishment that is involved in the retail sale of Shout Studios titles distributed by SDS. So obviously he's going to know more than an idiot like me who can't pronounce the word archive or direct to consumer. Direct to consumer. What do you want from me? I like drugs. Anyway, it's just speculation. It might not be true. It's just him saying what he thinks, what he's heard. Take it for what it's worth. Now, I've been talking a lot with my homie Chase from AV Pop Culture over the last couple of days about this topic. We both agree that it just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense for where Shout is. Their acquisition of Golden Princess, they just put out 2 volumes of the Blaxploitation classics. Those seem to be selling like hotcakes. The Hong Kong Cinema Classics seem to be selling quite well. Hard Boiled, I think, has sold quite well just off pre-orders. City on Fire, the slipcover's already out of print. So, you know, those seem to be selling quite well. And they've still got this whole Golden Princess library that they haven't tapped. It's hard for us to fathom why they would want to close up shop when they've already set themselves up. They announced a 4K for Day of the Dead. That's a big one on the horizon, and it just seems weird that they would have all this set up and then close up shop. But on the other hand, Oaktree might simply be avoiding the sunk cost fallacy. So they might be folding up the physical media business for reasons that make sense to them in a way that like is unfathomable to us, that we don't know because we're outside the business and we're not privy to the data that the math where that makes sense. Now, if Mark from Orbit is right, that's what I call a tragic ending theory. It means that Shout will almost certainly follow through with pre-orders. If you've pre-ordered The Killer or Hard Boiled from them, you're almost certainly going to receive those. Those are almost certainly printed, done, you know, in the can, so to speak. And so those will be making their way out. Those are supposed to be coming this year anyway. Beyond that, maybe not much else. It means that something like the Day of the Dead 4K, which was announced a short while ago, may be in jeopardy. That's why it's the tragic ending. I think we'll know more as 2025 draws to a close or as 2026 begins. It's inevitable that we're eventually going to hear something from Shout Studios about their future, particularly if they're going to stop producing physical media and they're canceling certain projects that might be a little further out, like the Day of the Dead 4K. I think I speak for most of us when I say that I would be bummed to see Shout Studios stop their physical media in favor of streaming, especially in favor of streaming. It's sad that I wouldn't be able to buy their product anymore, but it would be really kind of tragic to see them going after streaming, like that industry. That's another topic Chase and I have discussed at length over the past couple of days, trying to make sense of it. You know, it's not 2017 anymore. Streaming is a crowded industry these days. Everybody's got a streaming service. Shit, I got a streaming service. I can't imagine Oak Tree thinks they're going to go up against companies like Netflix, Hulu, Disney, Amazon. I mean, all these big, big companies that have sunk a lot of money into streaming over the past decade or more, especially in Netflix's case, more than a decade of putting money into that business. I just can't imagine that even with Shout's entire library, FilmRise's entire library, all the Golden Princess stuff, you're still going to have a hard time competing against some of those big streamers. I can't imagine that they're going to be able to make much more of a dent in that industry than something like the Criterion channel, which, you know, again, as I said in my previous video, would make a lot of sense if you want to have a streaming service and a physical media arm of your businesses like Criterion does. It makes a certain amount of sense that you want to be able to market yourself towards fans of niche movies, cult movies that may not want to fill up rows and rows of shelving with physical media copies. And fine, you can continue to offer the physical media for the folks who do want to buy it, like ourselves. But again, it's hard to fathom that they're going to try to make a big splash in streaming. And if it does wind up occurring, then my speculation is that Oak Tree is positioning their Radial Entertainment Group, that's their combination of Shout Studios and FilmRise, as a product to be acquired by one of those big streaming companies that I just mentioned. I think that Oak Tree's plan is to try to put together a nice package and try to sell it off to Amazon or Netflix or something like that to add to their existing libraries. And I think that would hypothetically allow Oak Tree to realize a profit on their 2023 investment in Shout Studios. It's kind of what asset management firms like to do. They want to buy things and then resell them at a profit and make more money for their shareholders. That's what they exist to do, anything to make a dime. And if it means grinding Shout Studios up and turning it into something that we don't even recognize for a buck, unfortunately, that's what private equity does. And that's why I said in my last video that they're the worst thing to happen to the American economy, because it just eats up companies and then shits out something completely different. And, you know, we're the ones kind of left to tragically mourn the shit that they shit out. So, I mean, at that point, whatever product Oak Tree sells to whatever streamer would be Shout in name only. It'd be unrecognizable, really, in practice to all of us who loved their physical media releases, and that's why I call this the tragic ending. Now, the silver lining to the tragic ending is that the physical media licenses that Shout ends up releasing or giving up would undoubtedly be picked up by other boutiques. Okay, so obviously Shout Studios is not the only game in town. Arrow has a history of releasing Scream titles like Life Force. In the Mouth of Madness is coming out very, very soon. And it looks like Arrow's even doing a 4K of Halloween for the UK market. So I don't doubt that Arrow would pick up and re-release a ton of Scream's portfolio. I'm sure Kino, maybe even Criterion, would jump in to release things like the Herzog films. I would love to see a Criterion box set of the Herzog films. You don't think I'd spend $500 on that? You're wrong. I would spend $500 on a Herzog box set. Give me brand new Herzog commentaries on every single movie. Hoo-wee! I'm touching myself at the thought. The Oliver Stone films, I know Shout has released a bunch of Oliver Stone films, like Born on the 4th of July, JFK. I'm sure Kino and Criterion would snap those up in a heartbeat if Arrow didn't. There might actually be a lot of very healthy competition between the boutiques as to, you know, what they're going to wind up getting, you know, picking over the estate sale that is the Shout licenses in the event that Shout winds up closing up shop. So it would be sad to see Shout go away. But at the same time, I love Criterion. I love Arrow. I tolerate Kino. I would buy, I mean, I buy their releases, so okay. I own a lot of Kino back there. Don't worry about it. I would be happy to see them pick up some of these licenses and maybe do their own spin on some of these films and some of these releases. I think it could wind up giving us something that we can't really imagine right now, but winds up being really, really cool maybe. So even if the tragic ending comes to pass, you know, maybe we wind up getting something good from it. So to summarize, I will say that Oktoberfest is way, way better than brown ale. I don't know why brown ale exists. Also, I will say to summarize that there's no evidence to indicate that Shout will be ending their physical media production. There's just nothing but speculation out there right now. So let's not freak out, okay? I'm going to choose to believe that Shout will continue to release physical media and sell it through Groove and other parties like third parties like Amazon, other retailers. I'm assuming that until Shout makes an official announcement, in a year, 2 years, 3 years, I will still be able to drive my happy Bishop ass to Bull Moose and walk through there and buy whatever new John Woo movie has been released through the Hong Kong Cinema Classics, whatever Chow Yun-fat movie, All About Ah Leong. I would love to see that one released by the Hong Kong Cinema Classics collection, and I'm assuming that that's going to be possible. However, to finish my summary, in the sad event that Shout does decide they no longer want my money, I will continue to patronize companies like Arrow, Criterion, Kino, Vinegar Syndrome, Fun City Editions, Severin, TerrorVision, Ignite Films, Lionsgate Limited, Vestron, Hammer, Discotheque for my anime fix, my 80s anime fix, because that's about the only anime I like. Hell, even Sandpiper Pictures. I mean, that might actually be kind of good for them, because they're like the vultures that pick the bones clean. So who knows? This could be a big win for Sandpiper. Sandpiper's like that black dude with the yellow suit, like leaning out from behind the tree, just watching these rumors that Shout's gonna close up like this, like, ooh-wee, what Blu-ray licenses am I picking up, you know? I'm sure Sandpiper's just salivating, you know, waiting for them to close up shop. Maybe they're the ones who started these rumors to begin with, who knows? Anyway, yeah, hopefully you guys aren't freaking out. Hopefully everything's all good in the hood. I am going to, I'm gonna enjoy finishing this Oktoberfest in honor of my fine patrons here. You people are excellent. I love you people. I hope Shout doesn't cancel you people. And if you're not on this list, you better get right with the bishop, son. I'll see you on the flippy dippy, y'all. Peace. I'm drinking this Oktoberfest. West, yo.